My name is Alexandra Jean-Francois, and I will be talking to you about the performance management revolution. This presentation is based on an article from the Harvard Business School called The Performance Management Revolution, written by Capelli and Anna Tavis. I will answer the following questions. What are some of the main problems with annual reviews and performance appraisal? With a brief description of merit ratings and reasons why companies use them, brief history of merit ratings, why should companies stop using them, and do I agree with the Jack Walsh model? Why and why not? What are some of the main problems with annual reviews and performance? Before I go into that, I would like to give you a brief description of why companies use merit ratings. On the right, you'll see a few key points of objectives for merit ratings. One of the key reasons to use merit rating is for companies to assess the work of employees. It also helps companies consider employees for promotions, transfers, and of-course layoffs. But one of the key issues is to address any problems that employees might face and for companies to address them. This means how to make work or a process more efficient and effective. Companies use performances to justify pay raises. On the left is a breakdown of how companies use the merit to justify the percentage of raises for the employees based on high performers, middle performers, and low performers, and then use that data to do a comparison from prior year and current year. And with today's push for fair pay between genders, on the right side, companies can also use that data to see how men and women are paid in comparisons to each other doing the same work. Now I'm going to address some of the main problems with the annual reviews and performance. So merit ratings wasn't prevalent until after World War II. So just after World War II, only 60% of companies used merit ratings. And as a result of merit uses and how efficient it was and easier for companies to track, it started to become a trend. So by the 1960s, the merit companies using merit ratings increased to 90%. However, the merit ratings were, of course, based on seniority. Strong performance meant advancement and promotions, even though performance does not guarantee that the employee, the person who got promoted, would make a great manager and that they had managerial skill. For example, just because the person was promoted to a manager does not mean that they take how the manager treat people. This caused a shift when manager talent was in shortage. Then companies used the merit ratings as a way to shift people from one level to another. In the 1970s, inflation affected pay raises. It was essential for workers to be part of the outstanding performers to achieve the pay. Workers who were not at the top performers only received the cost of living raises, and sometimes that wasn't enough. As a result, past performance were overlooked. 98% of the employees fell within the satisfactory range, and only 2% either fell into outstanding or unsatisfactory. Now, you might think that that's not an issue, but let's use the bell curve so I can explain to you why that's an issue. In this normal bell curve, notice the middle part of the bell curve, okay, where the 34.1% on the left side and the other 34.1% on the right side, which makes a 68% of the average person. To the left of the 34.1%, where the 13.6% reside at a -2, this means that 13.6% of the employees were just under average performing. So here you would develop some kind of a program to help the employees shift to a satisfactory or even move to outstanding if that was possible. On the right side of the 13.6%, where it is a +2, this means that there were 13.6% of employees that were above average performers. They weren't exactly outstanding, but they excelled at their jobs. And the other 2% on either side, closest to the -3 and +3, meant that these performers were either outstanding at their job or they were incredibly bad at their jobs, which meant that the workforce had an even amount of outstanding workers, satisfactory workers, and just above average workers. But that was not the case. When 98% falls within a satisfactory, that means that like 98% of the employees were just okay at their jobs. None of them, not most of them were not great at their job or even outstanding at their job. They were just okay. Only 2% were outstanding, and then the other 2% were really bad at their jobs. It was, and that could contribute to a lot of things. Maybe not enough ambition or training, but something was lacking. To have 98% of your employees just okay at your job is not okay. And the other issue with the problems with this is the fact that executives had a tax deduction, which was great for the tax for the executives. However, that money has to come from somewhere, which meant that the middle managers and hourly employees or salary employees were the ones who had to pay for these kinds of incentive for the executive, which added more burden to the middle class. So why should companies stop using merit ratings? There are three reasons why. One of them on the left side, let's start on the left side, is the return of people development. We want the employees to take ownership of their own growth. We don't want the companies to tell the employees where they want to go or what they should do. Let the employees lead their own career. The second thing is by doing this, we will allow managers to give constant feedback and not wait to the end of the year just to let employees know whether or not they were in the right track. The last part of the return of people development is that rich talent sometimes does not reside inside the companies, and that companies has to consult agencies outside to get fresh and skilled employees, and that means getting college students who are turned into skilled advisors and workers who are trained for them into the workforce that's needed. The second reason to stop using them is the need for agility. Today, companies must be able to adapt quickly because of changing technology and demand. There's a constant change in demand. People change their mind all the time about what they want, and because of that, companies needs to have the ability to uh, to to adapt to the change of the need of the market. They need to stay ahead and current. They need to make sure they always have the latest technology or the systems, because only that way they can have enough information to market correctly, have the right data to pull the right information. But one of the key things is that projects are short term. And now Because of changes in the market, changes in demand, changes in what the people want, business no longer have this annual cycle anymore. Now the cycle is a lot shorter. It's closer to quarterly than it is yearly. Last reason is the centrality of teamwork. Employees want to be able to be accountable individually, not just as a teamwork. And the fact that they can do their job individually and be considered as an individual fosters teamwork. It let managers again set clear goals and pay raises throughout the year and not just once a year. But most of all, it fosters sophisticated technique that promotes all levels. That means everyone at different levels, different skills come together, work together as a team. Do I agree with the Jack Welch model? Well, before I can let you know if I agree or not, I need to let you know what the Jack Welch model is. Well, according to Jack Welch, he divided the company workforce into three sections. A, workers who were rewarded. They did great. They were great at their job. They were top performers. And there they use training system to develop them. That's where the money goes, is with those individuals. And they take key people out of those top performers and make them into senior positions and managers. The second section is just employees that should be accommodated. The employees that did their job, they're fine, they're satisfactory, boom, next. But the last ones are the employees that were part of the low performers, and they believe that these employees should be dismissed. In other words, fired. So I'm going to be consistent and use the bell curve once again. So here on the left side, where the top 20%, that is the other employees that are great at their job. These are the ones that they're going to pull from and advance. And the vital ones, which is the 70% in the middle, are the ones who are good at their job. They're great at job. They have enough trainings. They're fine. But then on the right side, at the bottom 10%, that is the part that Jack Welch said, fire them, dismiss them. Well, it's not just easy as that, letting go employees. If it was the case, then a lot of companies would just fire employees right then and there without any regards, even though some of them do, but it's not as easy as that. Why? Why I do not agree with just firing the bottom 10? Because even the worst employee costs money. You can't just get rid of the employee. It will cost the company money one way or the other. So let's do something about it before it gets to that point. Try to help the employee out before we dismiss them, we fire them. Put them on an employee improvement plan. Give the employee a warning. The employee may not even know that they're terrible at their job. Have mandated training. Maybe the employee is not properly trained, and that is the reason why he or she is struggling. Find the employee another job, especially if that employee has been with the company for years. There might be information the employee knows that others don't. It might be because they have strength somewhere else. It is the manager's job to find out what makes the employee tick. And if all efforts fail, then terminate the employee. But remember, we are in HR, and that means that we are there for people. We help people. We figure things out. And termination may not always be the answer. My name is Alexandra Jean-Francois. Thank you for listening to this presentation and have a wonderful day.